Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the King and I Life podcast for me, Soul Toucher the Poet, and my family up in this joint.
It's your girl Phoenix.
Sun Soul Lex up in here.
We jumping back into this topic. We started out talking about why do some women think they know everything about men, but we had to throw an audible in the mix. Why do women think they know about
what they want from a man?
There we go. Damn it. So we're gonna jump straight back into it. You already know where to find us, how to get in touch with us, and where to find our content. So let's jump back into it. Phoenix, you want to finish what you was talking about?
So again, we have really, really good youth that are just not spotlighted because the narrative that they have painted for our culture is we don't want anything in life. We're not working for anything in life. We're materialistic, and it goes right back to those reality shows. There is not a good reality show with us that is something that is something for the kids to strive for. It's spotlighted. The housewives, the basketball wives, the whatever wives, and it's titled that, but there are really no wives on there.
True.
Right.
They're baby mamas and girlfriends,
side pieces.
Yes. So I'm like, what is this? What is this? Now I'm gonna say this: I don't watch any of it. I don't. I hear people say that they watch it because they don't have drama in their life, but for me, it's a negative bubble, and I don't have time for negative vibes. I don't watch it at all.
True.
I think our youth gets a bad rap because a majority of them are doing what's right, and a majority of them are trying to build families and structure. It's just we don't see that. It's not promoted. I think if we took the focus off of the negative and focus more on those positives and shine light more on the positive, it lays the foundation and puts the bricks for the path to be followed.
Well said.
So yeah, well said. So speaking on that, I was just thinking, yes, the news, the media, entertainment shows that negative side of us, which causes our men to not act like men. It causes our women to not act like women, and you know, we run into what we're talking about now, and it's easy for us to blame the media. Me personally, I think our culture needs to look inside of itself and stop putting forth that image, because that image is so
Mm-hmm.
magnetic and entertaining, and it's so
Mm-hmm.
profitable, and it causes our people to sell their souls so much for that dollar that no one thinks about having that type of integrity for what it means for us as a culture, and it takes away from those good families, those good images, and all that in our communities, and then it causes our women to act the way they act, and then they got 2 and 3 kids by however many men, and we got the men, they got all these kids from these different many women, and they think that is so cool, and it causes men to have a outlook on the women, a women to have an outlook on the men, and we're just clashing all the time, and the men get it in their head that the women are nagging, oh, she this, oh, she that, and the women think, oh, well, he acting like every other man, and it's like a vicious cycle of hypocrisy and nonsense that
Mm-hmm.
we refuse. Now, I'm not going to say we can't. We refuse to sit back and be like, all we're doing is being circus animals for the world.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And to touch on it, I'm sorry, go ahead, son.
I agree with everything you're saying right now. The thing about it though is, for some reason, we feel that we have to be entertained. So when we
Mhm.
see this negativity on the news or we watch these negative shows, people don't stop and consider that it's negative energy. So you're absorbing that. You're thinking that,
Mhm.
it's just a television show. No, it's an energy. So
Mhm.
even though you claim you're not part of it, you're actually partaking in it because you feel that you need to be entertained by that. And I really do. I'm just at a point now where I feel like, when are we as a group of people going to stop falling for the same goddamn hokey doke, as they say?
Yeah, exactly.
I grew up with different kind of TV shows. I grew up with the Cosby shows and the Different World. Different World was my show. That was one of the most brilliant shows for me. I couldn't wait to grow up and go to college. These young girls watch these shows and they can't wait to grow up and get a rapper and a ball player. And it's such a glamorized life. When I was growing up, going to college and having a family and a good career, those were the things that were glamorized. So
Yeah.
um, I just I am thankful for the time frame that I grew up in, and I really try to be a positive light for our youth. That being said, and I grew up in a two-parent household. My parents got divorced when I was 10, and then they got remarried. Um, that being said, I decided I was going to walk on the wild side. Once I got to a certain age, I was like, I'm going to do what
Oh,
everybody else is doing because apparently that's what's fun. But I still had, because of the way I was raised, I still had certain restraints. I still had certain moral codes that I wouldn't go past. And I think the biggest one for me was I did not want to disappoint my daddy and I did not want to disappoint my grandmother.
right.
It was those two things that refrained me from doing so much stuff. And I just feel like nowadays people don't have that. They don't care. And I think we as a culture have to get us back under those moral guidelines. And that way, when women decide what they want from a man, it can be buildable aspects instead of superficial aspects, if
Mm,
that makes sense.
Perfect sense.
mm.
So why
Oh,
is her list of? I'm sorry.
no, I was going to say to what she was saying. It again, it's not impossible. It's just when you look at our culture today, it seems impossible because our not only are our men falling short on masculinity in our communities and
Mhm.
being the backbones and this, that, and the other that we require, our women are also falling to the wayside and they're not our men are not expecting enough from our women, and the women seem to be expecting less from the men because the men are expecting less of themselves. And
Mhm.
that right there to me is the prime self-destructive mechanism in our communities, which kind of lends itself to this topic that we're having. Because if you don't have strong men to put their foot down, and I'm not saying put their foot down on a woman's neck or back, but put their foot down and feet down in our communities, everybody runs loose. And the bad thing about it is we have a lot of good girls going bad. And it's like there's nobody to bring them in because everybody is trying to um what's the word? Manipulate and just profit off of their sexuality. So it's like now you're grooming women who do not know how to be women. You're blaming them for that, but it's like you got to look at what they're coming from. So it's like as much as you hold them accountable for their behavior, when they should know better, you got to look at where they came from.
True.
Very
That's
true.
true. That's true.
So,
Accountability.
Yeah.
It's a good word. Go ahead, son. I'm sorry.
no problem. Why is her list so long when it comes down to what she is looking for in a mate? Height requirements, six-figure income, and with the right circle of society, drives a nice car and has the nice house.
Because that's the
Yeah.
fantasy that we've been led to believe is a good life.
Yeah. And yeah.
That is the fantasy that we have been fed, that this means you're going to have a great life and a great marriage and great kids, and you're going to be well taken care of and provided for, and everything is going to be sunshine and rainbows. That's why she's ticking that list off, because she is so desperate to be happy. And this is what happiness is according to what she's being fed.
Mm-hmm. According to pop culture.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about it is, you know, I remember when we were coming up, it was the Joker had to be taller than a woman, and um he had to be light skinned or dark skinned.
No in between.
No in between. It was either
Can't be Coco.
the light skinned dude was in, or the dark skinned dude was in. Now we come to this point that that y'all Phoenix mentioned earlier in the question that Son Celestius posed. Um, the not only is the height required, it's the six-figure income, and it's like you don't even know what a six-figure life is, but you want a
Correct.
person with a six-figure income. Why? Oh, so you can buy all the trendy stuff and look cute and look pretty and just be in
And look
yeah,
successful.
and be in everybody's eyes, so you get all this attention. And that goes along with being in the right circle of society.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be a Kim Kardashian type of person. It's like, yeah, she has her things going on, but it's like for us, it was like we know her because of certain things, certain circles, certain activities that she did.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily that shined a bright light on her, but I don't think a lot of our women can effectively maneuver in that type of environment. But it's like our women don't come from that type of uh upbringing young to having that spotlight and then transcending into something else. There's very few of them out there. um Nice cars, nice house. Why, when it comes to nice cars, um what burns me up is this woman who wants a dude with a nice car, wants a nice car. Chick, you can't even take care of a basic car and you want a nice car. Like, that does not compute with me. I mean, I'm not asking you or expecting you to be able to pull up the hood and change a spark plug or anything like that. But if you can't even take a Honda Civic to get an oil change, what are you going to do with a Jaguar or a Benz or a Bentley? Like, what are you doing with that? And
It's me, y'all. He talking about me.
shut your mouth.
It's me talking
Uh,
about me, because I don't go get my oil changed like I should.
but you also ain't looking for a Maserati,
But
are you?
seriously, right? No,
But
no.
and then when it comes to
Um,
the nice house thing, it's like I can be torn on this because I can understand. Hey, sometimes you don't want to clean the house, but it's like, why you want a nice house and you can't keep it clean. You can't cook. You want this laid out kitchen that you're not gonna cook in. Like you want
uh,
the looks
she's
in a
asking for someone with the six figures, so she don't have to do none of that. Those are maids and private chefs, and you're not understanding.
no, I
You're not. Let
understand.
me tell you.
But mm,
She wants that nice house because she don't have to clean it. She
again,
doesn't have to cook in that kitchen. She doesn't have to do any of those things,
mm,
because her requirement is a man who can provide her with the services to keep her from having to do the manual labor.
mm. I got a
that
problem
is
with that.
one of the
I got,
reasons that they like that.
I got a problem with that,
Hey,
boy.
hey.
Mm,
Now I'm gonna say this because the topic is about women, but there are some men who want women like that. All they want is a trophy wife. I want you to
mm-mm,
look good and be snatched and just be on my arm and be what I need you to be behind closed doors. But other than that, I'm going to give you this lifestyle.
mm.
This is what I feel that I want to do for you. Case in point, my son says that he wants a 1920s wife. He doesn't want her to cook he doesn't want her to work. He doesn't want her to do anything. All he wants her to do is be at home when he gets there. Now, he wasn't raised like that, for sure. But that is his mindset. To each their own. I don't have to go to his house and see how nasty it is or how clean it is or whatsoever. I don't have to go and figure out if she can cook because let's just be realistic.
Mm.
Most women in those situations have been handicapped by men because they have they have grown up to be taught men take care of women completely and they have to do nothing in return. That is not the way that works. And I had to tell my son that. You might want her to stay at home, but staying at home means she gonna clean, she gonna cook, she's going to do all of 1920s. Baby, you got it confused.
All the
That is
way.
a full-time homemaker, period. There's the lifestyle that you have in your mind that you want to give a woman, your bank
Doesn't
account
exist.
don't match, for one. But for two, it's not. I feel like this, ladies. I don't want that because at some point, a man is going to have resentment. No matter how much he says he wants that and wants to give you that, at some point he's going to have resentment. When he hits a struggle and you sitting in the house with your makeup on and your chiffon little gown and your feet done, your nails done, your hair whipped, and eating bonbons, he gonna be looking at you and looking at them bills that's due, and he gonna be like, "Now wait a minute, all you bringing to the table is this? Let me reevaluate." It gets it's a slippery, slippery slope um, when you are dating from that list. I'm gonna say that.
Mm.
Because they kind of get to where if I'm providing you all these things, then I'm gonna do what I want to, and you better not say nothing. I'm giving you what you asked for. I'm giving you the six figures. You got the jag. You got this. You got that. So if I don't come home for a week because I'm out doing something else, you don't need to call me, and you don't need to have your lip poked out about it. And honestly, if you're not bringing anything to the table, what can you say?
Excuse me. The thing about a female having a list, I get it. There are certain things that you're looking for a strong foundation. I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And vice versa for a man, you want a strong foundation. When you both have a strong foundation, you can build from there. But when one person has a strong foundation and another person is coming to actually just be on top of your foundation, meaning they didn't help you, get the bricks and mortar or bring the water to mix it all up together, help lay it out, do the proper calculations. It's kind of hard for the person who's already built their foundation to get used to somebody just coming in, regardless of how
Mm-hmm.
pretty you are or how handsome you are. Again, it's kind of like, well, I've done this. What can you do to help me go from here? Instead of just coming
Mm-hmm.
in and saying, well, I don't like the color of that right there. You need to move that over there.
Mm-hmm.
That right there, even though it's already here before I got here, let's just tear that down and start all over again because I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hmm.
It,
I just, I
it
don't know. As a man, I would be like, "What you gonna add to, sweetheart?" Because as a woman, that's what I'm like. What are you adding to my life? You being here,
Mm-hmm.
what are you adding to my life?
right.
And if you ain't adding anything but negativity and stress and demands, then I don't. What we really doing?
Yeah, because the thing about it is, again, you're not just looking for financial support. You're looking for mental support. Um,
Emotional.
yeah, emotional, physical. All those
Hmm.
things that come with having a healthy relationship. And again, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, as Phoenix say. But at the same
Yeah,
time, we have to at least be on the same level to a certain degree where we can make things possible. It's not always about
that.
um, this is my business and I don't need your help with it, or she may feel the same. Again, it's about, okay, although I'm not a part of your business, you may be contemplating something like
Mm-hmm.
what color should my company vehicles be, and the other person
Hmm.
like, well, I saw this one color the other day that I think would be perfect. So
Hmm.
again, you're contributing, although it's just an idea. At least you're contributing.
Exactly. Exactly. I see too many people trying to build businesses and their partners are just not interested.
Mm.
Oh, you want to start a business? You don't really know the paperwork? Well, I know the paperwork. Let me handle the office end for you. Oh, you want to flip houses? Okay, baby girl, let's see if we can invest in this house and let me try to help you you know, get some contractors, or I know how to do floors, or I don't see that at, especially in our culture. I don't really see that, and it breaks my heart because other cultures get it. They support each other. Um, for me, my list is three things: be good, do good, communicate. It's what I've always looked for.
Jumping back to the whole 1920s wife thing.
Leave my son alone.
The funny thing about that is, you know, how can and it's not your son or my son, whoever's son. It's a lot of people out there with that skewed mentality, and you know, we know if you're gonna be a homemaker, you got to be a homemaker, not just sit around and look cute all day and the house look a wreck, kids look a wreck, ain't nothing cooked, ain't nothing clean. People don't like. It's like, how do you don't even know what a 1920s wife is in 2010. That's like a almost 100 years before your existence. And it's
Right?
like, whatever you think was going on in 1920 is not going
Is
on in 2010 and 2020. It's
right.
a different ball game. And you also have to factor in women's rights movements, women this, women that. And because women demanded more that they were not
More
getting,
is expected.
more is expected. And then some women put their expectations so high because women before them had no expectations. They just had to exist. So you got
Hmm.
this conflict to where nobody know what the hell they're doing and nobody's taking the time to learn anything.
Son.
Um, I think that there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a female who stays at home and takes care of the home. If you want to be the man in a situation like that where you provide for your family, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But again, at the same time, you have to let your mate know, hey, if this is what I'm asking, this is what I need in order for us to progress. Meaning, I
Hmm.
need a clean house. I need clean drawers. I need, our seats taken care of. There are gonna be times where I need a simple back massage. But again, if you don't communicate that to the person Um, you're asking to stay at home, and you come home and your house is dirty, and your kids got chocolate all over their face, or trash ain't been taken out, or it just look like a storm has come through there. Then you're gonna be aggravated as hell if that's
Mm-hmm.
what you're expecting. So I think the proper communication in a situation like that is definitely needed.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, can a woman build herself up to meet or exceed what she's looking for in a man, i.e., be the counterpart to her list of demands?
I think it should be a requirement. I think if you have a list that you should literally be mirroring that list. You
Hmm.
should be able to say, I'm asking of these things because it's a reflection of what I am. I just don't feel, for me, um, and you know, I'm sure plenty won't agree. I do not like to be asked to do something that you wouldn't be willing to do yourself. So I feel like if I'm asking something of you, then I should be able to match that.
Right. And that's the key factor in that, because you can't expect anything of someone that you cannot at least meet
Hmm.
more than halfway.
All right.
Um, and that goes physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially. Um, because people get caught up in their feelings, and it's like they don't look at the logic. And there's a lot of women out there who expect a whole bunch of things, but they're not they're not looking at where they're at and looking at where this other person is, and they're not trying to meet in certain ways. Now, if the woman is doing well, she has no business accepting courtship from a man who can't meet her halfway. Again, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. It's just a mismatch, and
Hmm.
it's just toxic and destructive. So, I mean, women can build themselves up to meet or exceed what she is looking for, and more power to those women. And those women who meet or exceed that need to look for, as Phoenix said, date in your class. um Date in your class, your mental stability, your financial bracket, your tax bracket, or whatever the
Hmm.
case may be. You have to do that, because as Phoenix said, a man gonna come home one day, something happened, he gonna be looking over there like, what the hell I got now? Like, what can you do? And women do the same thing. But at the end of the day, it's like, when you're going into it, if you get to a certain level, that's what you look for. You
Hmm.
run into somebody who's climbing up the ladder, be able to climb up the ladder with them, same
Yep.
speed or one or two steps behind or above them.
True that. I definitely agree that women can build themselves up and vice versa. But I also think that it takes determination and being truthful with yourself. Um,
Hmm.
Again, we all have our own personal flaws and jagged edges, as they say. But
Hmm.
for some people who just refuse to accept, you know, those jagged edges about themselves, but want somebody else to accept, those jagged edges, I think that's insane. If you
It's
know
not
that you
insane. It's
have,
narcissism.
yeah, if you know
Mm.
you have mental, you know, situations that happened to you in the past, there's nothing wrong with getting mental help. You have to
Therapy.
at some point say, I want a man who's mentally stable, but if I'm not mentally stable, meaning I'm cussing you out all in public and,
Mm.
goddamn breaking out your car windows and leaving
Oh
you
my
ain't
goodness.
SHI, on your car and things along that
Mhm.
line, man, nobody got time for all that.
At
So
all.
I
At all.
think that again,
Mm.
both men and women, if if you're broken, You know, if you done been through some stuff that you
Right,
need some
Ladies, you know too.
psychological help with, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're asking for somebody else to be mental stable, that's kind of like what they're asking you to do too. So,
First date question: have you had therapy? Who's your therapist? Who's your therapist?
And with that said, we will be back.
All right.
Oh man.
Just saying.
yeah, man.